Hello and welcome to Tea and Cornbread, a conversation with Sean and Tracy. I am Sean.
And I'm Tracy.
And we are talking to you all that are 50 and fabulous.
And don't forget handsome.
And we want you to know that we want to get some education happening, some empowerment.
We want to grow with you. We want to learn with you. We want to see what you're doing, 50 and over.
So like, share, comment, follow, subscribe,
grab your
tea.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to Tea and Cornbread with Sean and Tracy. You're 50, now what? I'm Tracy. My co-host Sean Johnson is not here, but I have a great feeling.
What's going on? It's Kyle.
Kyle's here, and I know what people are going to say. It's 50 and over, but guess what?
At this point, there's a little bit of an age range difference. Yeah,
that's okay though. He's our son, like I said, and he's filling in, and he's our producer. If you don't know, So he's come from behind the scenes, and he's sitting in with me. These few episodes that we have going on here, and I appreciate that. So welcome to Kyle. He's our guy. He's our guy.
I appreciate it.
So Kyle.
Yep.
Welcome. Like I said, what'd you do this weekend? Tell me something exciting.
Exciting. I just, it's basically just been chill. I've been working on a few projects, and just basically trying to get my clientele up. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So that's basically been what I've been doing over the weekend. Had a couple projects done, some that are done in this studio that we're in today, right?
Yep.
So just had to get those done. Had some fun talking with friends, and just living life.
Just taking it day by day.
That's awesome. That's all you can do.
Yeah. What did I do this weekend? I didn't do anything too exciting. Today is Sunday. Look, I got to kind of get my bearings, remember where I'm at and what day it is.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything too exciting. My normal routine, got up, went and worked out, did some shopping, and came home and then relaxed. Simple Saturday. Just a simple Saturday. Got ready for today's show.
Yeah.
It is Heart Month this month. We are both wearing red for that cause.
That was, that wasn't planned.
No, it really wasn't.
That was not planned.
Yes. So that's awesome that we are in tune without even realizing we're in tune with each other.
Right.
It is also Black History Month.
Yay. History Month, Valentine's Day coming up.
Yes. So there's a lot going on, and hopefully we'll hit a little bit of on each subject as we go out, to talking to you these next few Sundays of the month.
And
again,
the shortest month.
Yes, definitely that. But it's okay. We're going to make the best of it anyway. We just want to say thank you. I know we usually end our broadcasts by saying thank you to the people, but I really want to say thank you to the people, because what I have noticed as when you're moving around and you're out there and you're seeing people recognize who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I seen a lady not too long ago, and I meant to tell your mom this in the store, and she just kind of looked at me kind of weird. She said hello, I said hello, and she said tea and cornbread, and I start laughing. So then I seen another lady, one of my girlfriends, and she said she's been listening. So I just really want to say thank you to everyone for listening. I know time is very valuable to each person. You may not have time to sit and look at the videos, but if you're on a drive, if you're chilling and walking around the house, put on the podcast and just listen to it.
Yeah.
But we just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone.
That's awesome. So the lady who looked at you kind of strange and said, tea and cornbread, did you guys know each other beforehand?
I don't know if I knew her beforehand, because another thing that she said tea and cornbread, Sean. So when she said Sean, I said she recognizes me. I thought, from previous years of getting my hair done with your mom or something like that. But it was tea and cornbread. She said,
tea and cornbread.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Made me feel good that people are recognizing, people are listening, and that's what we want. And we just want to say thank you to that.
So you've been doing tea and cornbread with my mom for a while now.
I think I was one of her first guests before we officially named it. Tea and cornbread. Yeah, and it was audio.
Yeah,
it was audio.
It was audio. There was a video component, but that was before we had decided that's what we were gonna do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
yeah.
we already had an idea of doing the audio format, but then when the opportunity to also do video came up, she basically jumped at the chance.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you were very much like you had done like interviews and stuff, but not you. I think you basically gave her the idea for this format
To go
here.
video, to go
Like as far as what tea and cornbread is.
Well, I talked about it and she kept trying to push me to do it, and I was being a procrastinator. So she was that force that said, "Listen, this is what we're gonna do, and this is how we're gonna do it," and that's what she's good at doing. You know what I mean? Put something in her head, and we're gonna make it work.
Trying to figure out how you can
Yeah,
make it work.
yeah, and here we are today. You know, so
Yep.
thankful and grateful for that. You know, making your dreams become
A reality.
a reality.
Yep.
Yes, definitely yes. So as I just said earlier, we were talking about it being Heart Month. One of the things I was reading some statistics. I'm no doctor. I was just doing a little bit of research again, using my tools off the internet. Black women are one of the most highest percentage of fatalities when it comes to the heart. So I just want to say to us, to all women, exercise. And I don't know what that exercise look like. It can be a simple walk. It can be a little movement with your arms and your legs. You know, drink plenty of water. I'm just trying to think of those things that you do. Get your regular checkups. That's another thing. Get your regular checkups are one of the biggest things too. You know, we are hesitant to go to the doctors, and we feel something and we know things may not be right, but if it passes, we're okay. You know, but you never know what else may be going on in your body. But speaking to, women mostly, I think I have some numbers on my phone. And if you don't mind, because I don't have them in my head, I will pull them up really quick.
There you go.
And see what the
Statistics.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks for correcting me with that word, Kyle. Let me see where I put it. Hold on, my people. Because, let's see, it said, I think we were like women of color, non-Hispanic women, we were like 18, 19% in that category of fatalities. Again, unfortunately, it's not working for me to pull up the exact numbers, and I did have it in here, I thought. Just give me 1 second. Doesn't want to expand to where it was at. Let me see if it's here, because I thought it was pretty interesting. The numbers were. I apologize. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I do have it. Okay, so women of color, 22.6% of deaths. That's high. That's high. The next one coming in after that was Asian with 18.6%, and then the one that come in last is Hispanics at 11.9%. So speaking to those numbers, those numbers are high.
Yeah.
And for it to be women of color to be one of the highest fatalities, we just speak to you and say, hey, go get your exams. Those little things that you feel or don't think are so important. That was another thing that I looked here, some of the signs. Some of the different signs, that you may be having distress, pain in your arm, chest pains, headaches.
Yep.
You're disoriented. Sometimes your speech, and these are signs not only for you to look at, but for people that are around you when they see your speech is getting slurred. Signs of your face. If it's a stroke, signs of your face drooping or things like that. And sometimes we as people don't pay attention to it. We don't think much of it. If I'm sitting here or you're sitting here, you hear me not talk, correctly, or if I'm not being communicating very well, you don't think anything of it. But sometimes these are the things that we, need to pay attention to with each other as we're moving forward. And I know I started the conversation off with saying that, it's about women, but it's also about men.
It's about people in general.
Just taking care, yes.
Because we all, because really, think about it. Like the heart is like if the heart's not beating, we're not here.
We're not here.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's very much everybody has a beating heart. Everybody's is not the same. Even though we like to think that certain things are are the same. But I'm a I'm a fan of individualized health. Like when it comes to checking up on people, what does this person specifically need? You know what I'm saying? That's why that's why they look at your family history and things like that. Yes, but how about how you yourself are living your life,
Definitely.
and what is it about your body that makes you different? Like everybody's the same, but everybody has something.
Right. Right. And I think that plays into another thing when you're talking about the stresses of the heart. You have to, in order to try to prevent it, because we can't, what's going to happen at times is going to happen, but to contribute to being healthy, some of the things that I read upon is healthy eating. And what healthy eating looks like to you may not be what it looks like to me. So, that's a broad
That's
span.
a broad statement.
Yes.
It is
yes.
a broad statement.
So whatever healthy eating looks like to you is what we need to get to doing. Controlling your sugar, your cholesterol, checking your blood pressure daily. And again, bottom line is checking in with your doctors, getting those visits in, and then sometimes people say, and I get it, I truly get it, it's the cost, or I don't have insurance, or I can't afford it.
Or my doctor won't listen.
Yes. Oh, that's a big one. You have to be your own best advocate. Kind of like last week when we talked about being your own best friend.
Yeah.
You have to be your own best advocate when you go to those doctors, because the doctors
are like, I'm down for both, for both Eastern and Western medicine, right? But my thing is, in order to really figure out what's up with the person, you have to communicate. A doctor is trained to to try things and see, according to my training, this must mean that you have this,
Right.
or you might have
Right.
this, or you might have this.
Exactly.
But I've been hearing stories a lot lately of people saying, look, I think I might have, have this, or the pain is coming from here. I know where it's like, I got a friend who was dealing with a hernia, right? And they knew what might have caused it, but the doctors were trying every other thing.
Okay.
Right? And like I said, we're not doctors or anything like that.
Not by
we're
any
not
means.
doctors or anything like that.
Right.
But there has to be communication and listening. You got to be willing to listen to your doctor when they find out when they seem to be on the right track. Same thing with a doctor and a patient, But then it makes me think. But then it also makes me think, because doctors are human. Doctors go to doctors.
Right.
Do they get on each other's nerves if one doctor is saying one thing and another doctor is saying the other? Like say the patient,
They're probably the
is
worst
doctor.
patients.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, are they good patients? All I know about doctors is at one point I wanted to be one, decided not to go that route, and apparently they have really bad handwriting. I did not know that was a thing until I started looking at like prescriptions and stuff like that,
Right.
like the stuff that they would write up. I got a buddy who works at a hospital, and I thought my handwriting was like, we crack on each other's handwriting all the time though. But still, I didn't believe in that stereotype. I'm like, what do you mean writes like a doctor? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Until I saw
What he meant when you looked at the signature, you looked at those prescriptions. You're like, what does this say? And how can you read this?
Yeah.
You said something about a doctor being a patient. Yeah, I'm wondering how they are, because you're sitting there, and just like we sit there as patients, we're telling to the doctor, how you said earlier, how they sometimes, you got to be your best advocate. You got to speak for yourself. You got to say, hey, this is what's going on. Even if the doctor says, okay, this is what I think it is.
Yeah.
That must be hard to be the doctor.
It's gotta be.
And have to go see a doctor.
It's
because
gotta be.
I'm wondering if they self-diagnose more than we do. Because, we use the internet free willy because we can.
Yeah.
They are educated, so, they know a little bit more than we do. So,
True.
Just wondering.
True, but also different things are being discovered every day.
True.
Right? And, like what was considered like common knowledge for that profession at the time that may not be
Was it what it is today?
that may not be
Yeah.
what it is today. Certain things have stayed the same. Other things have
Haven't changed. Definitely.
So it's
Definitely.
So I always kind of wondered, because I'm not sitting here like diagnosing myself with stuff. I'm just like, I'm just the older I get, the more curious I get about about certain things, and especially like the history around it. Like I looked up history of certain medical tools or certain things that were used for medical procedures.
Yes.
Like what they were originally like. Well, should I say it on here? I was gonna talk about the chainsaw, but nah.
No,
nah.
if you have to do that, let's not.
Yeah, not gonna do that.
Save it for another conversation.
Yeah, not gonna do that.
But bottom line again, it's Heart Month. We want you to take care of your hearts, most definitely. Look out for your loved ones. Make sure people are getting their checkups, and not just because it's Heart Month, but on a daily, yearly exams or what it is. And speak up, speak loud.
Speak up, but also be willing to listen to, and that counts for both. That counts for both, because you gotta advocate for yourself, but you also have to be willing to listen to.
You definitely do. You definitely do.
It's and this is just coming from, like, I get it, I'm young, okay, but like I remember one day I was at work. This was years ago, right? An older gentleman comes through my line, because I used to work at a grocery store.
Okay.
An older gentleman comes through my line, right? And I'm bagging for him, and he's talking about how he had just gotten major heart surgery, right? And I tried to relate, right? Because he's talking about the stress of recovery. He's talking about how he feels daily, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, I can relate to that, sir. I know how you feel. And he says, no, you're too young. He looks at me and says, no, you don't. You're too young.
Well, when you said that, though, did you say
Yeah.
it because you had the same situation as him, or were you relating something medically that you went through that you probably thought equates to
Medically.
okay.
It was
Okay.
it was strictly medically. Like it was because recovery time, regardless of whatever your procedure is, sometimes that can be very lonely.
Yeah.
Like for me, I found myself getting depressed. I had major hip surgery.
Right.
And even though it's not exactly the same, I still had major invasive surgery. You know what I'm saying? I thought, I could help, kind of help relate a bit.
Right.
But sometimes people don't want to relate. They just want to rant. They just want to get it out.
Yeah, they just want you to listen to what's
just want you
going
to
on.
listen.
But even with him saying that you can't relate because you're too young,
Yeah.
I don't know what the medical condition was. One of the things going back to the heart, again, I was speaking to a lady that works in the medical field in a doctor's office, and she was saying they're seeing more issues with younger
young
people
in
than
the
they've
heart.
ever seen pertaining to the heart.
Yeah.
A lot of it, she said, is stress related, and that's something that we need to look out for too. You know what I'm saying? But that's just interesting, because I think back in the day, and I don't want to say that this is correct, but you did equate heart attack, stroke, cardiac arrest to
age.
Yeah.
But they equated a lot of things to age, like when somebody had diabetes, or something like rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
There's an age range associated with that.
But I think that's out the door now. Well, I don't know if it's out the door for the
Not
medical
completely.
professional, but I think that, like she said, you're seeing more younger patients, unfortunately, now than they've ever seen.
Like, I can understand when you say older, because as you get older, the more susceptible you are to certain things.
Yeah.
Fine, but that's not a guarantee for everybody. Like,
it's not a catch-all for everyone.
That's not a catch-all for
at a certain age, right?
Matter of fact, I went to school with someone who had to wear a heart monitor every day.
Yeah.
Right, and I didn't know what it was for, but I remember at the time we were this was like junior year of high school, like junior year or senior year of high school, it was
I'm listening. I'm just looking because I thought I had some information on that percentage too.
yeah.
But go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah, and this was the first time I had seen somebody my age that had to wear anything like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
so, but I had known people with say asthma was very like I knew more than a few people with asthma, very common. I knew of a young lady who had to have heart surgery when she was a baby, because apparently she had a hole in her heart or something when she was born.
Yeah.
So she had to get emergency surgery done. I remember this specifically because I saw the scar, right? And I had no idea. And this happened when I was like 10. I had seen the scar. She explains that she had a hole in her heart, and then that was it. I didn't ask any other questions because
Right.
I was a little I was a little taken aback.
Yeah.
But the young man I went to school with who had the heart monitor, one day his I guess a battery on his heart monitor was about to die.
Oh, wow.
And the signal
Like
for
an
that,
alarm.
yeah, the alarm went off in the middle of class.
Wow.
And I just remember some started gasping, others started laughing, and the teacher had to stop us. They were like, "Why don't?
What are you laughing at?
What are you laughing at? He wears a heart monitor."
Right.
She said it like said it kind of quietly because, we're trying to be we're trying to be sensitive to it, but. And some people obviously knew, like his friends,
Yeah.
his friends knew. I didn't know. I wasn't close to him, but that was the first time I had ever experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
So imagine.
That's why
what
we
he
have
might
to educate ourselves, because I don't know why they were laughing, and then you got to take it as what it was, the age of the young adults.
Yeah, like-
not knowing. They probably didn't even know what they were laughing at, to be honest. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
it was
Not
just
laughing at him, laughing at a situation that they
we
didn't
just
realize
hear
was
a-
serious.
We just hear a noise.
Right. Right.
We just hear a noise. We have no idea what that's supposed to be for, and then when we find out, it's like, okay, reality set in.
Right.
There it is. You like everybody's different. He had a heart,
Everybody is different.
he had a heart monitor. The next person next to you might have asthma. The next
You
person
just
next to
don't
you might
know.
have.
Exactly.
So and that has nothing to do with age. That has to
Right.
do with just their biology stuff.
it.
Stuff stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
So it's very much when I hear someone say things like, they're surprised that it's happening because of age. I get where that comes from, but at the same time, like, it could happen to anybody.
Any age, any time. Yeah. There's no diagnosis, that is off the table, no matter what
No.
age you are.
And that's that's the unfortunate thing. Like you're so conditioned to think
Yes,
that
there
this
you
is
go. Only happens to this age, at this time. Well, we go back to your symptoms when you go to the doctors. You say X, Y, and Z is going on, and the doctor is going to tell you, oh, it falls within this diagnosis. Mm-hmm. But you know that there's more going on, and maybe there's some more testing, that needs to be done after you've done what the doctor told you to do, and that isn't what it was in the long run. You hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I've gone back forth to the doctors, and they've been doing all kinds of tests, and they've been doing all kinds of this, and they still can't figure it out.
And when going back to what you said about stress, right? When they said that they saw all these young people with these heart conditions, and they seem to be all stress related.
Yes.
And stress, first thing I think of when I think of stress, I think like you're stressed out, you're depressed. But where exactly is the stress coming from? Because what I used to hear, I remember when I was a kid, people would be like, "What you got to be stressed about?" Right? What you got to be stressed about at
Right.
11, 12, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Right? Not thinking that now they're thinking in the long run. They're like, okay, you're not paying bills. You're not going to work. You're not.
You're a kid. Go outside, be happy, and enjoy life.
Exactly. When sometimes it's deeper than what you
Yeah.
think, and it has nothing to do with the fact that they're like being.
Their worries were not those, though. That
Yeah.
and it's funny because I think that has come full circle now, because I think people pay more attention to children. They listen more to children. They let children express themselves more.
Yep.
I think that's a wonderful thing. sometimes, and I think we talked about this, where kids are speaking, we need to allow them to have that outlet. We don't need to be. I remember growing up, and it was children are to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? And why did we say that? Because that's not fair at the end of the day.
It's why. Okay, I think why you said it is because it was said to you.
Right.
Right.
I don't believe it, though. I don't believe that. As I sit here today, being a mom, being a grandmother, I have learned that does an injustice to our children, because we kind of make them feel like they're not important, their feelings do not matter, and not right now. Not right now.
Not right now. I think, personally, I think when, and this is just from experience, and I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but when a kid asks something to an adult and an adult does not know how to answer the question,
what do they say?
That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
They'll deflect. That's what they'll do. If they don't know the answer right off the bat, or can't come up with something, quickly, they might deflect and try to either change the subject or just say go somewhere.
Yeah. And don't say why. You couldn't say why. Like, if your parents or your grandparents said to something or made a statement and you would say why, I don't think it was a point of being
disrespectful.
Fresh. It was a point of, I just need a little bit more explanation. I need to understand why. And we do need to horn in on that when it comes to our children. I think we do a much better job now than we did previously, from what I see and the people that I'm around. So kudos to that.
And I do not, and I do not have kids. I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, right? And no, I don't have the answer to every question. To me, it's kind of like, to me, I'm still getting used to being in this stage of my life anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where like, I know I'm getting older, but when a younger person looks at you as you are like, they're asking you questions as if you're it's just like when I would ask my mom questions, because she's my mom.
Right.
Right? When somebody asks me questions as Uncle Kyle, sometimes it's like, wait a minute, hold on. They're looking to me for advice. That's weird to me.
Why do you find that weird, though?
You know what it is? Because I haven't really, I'm in my 30s.
Okay.
And I'm an adult by all standards, sure. But in my head, I don't quite see myself that way. It depends on the situation. Like, if I'm living on my own currently, my bills are paid, stuff like that, right? And then as soon as that's done, I just want to go back to my cartoons. Like,
and that's fine. That's okay. But when you say you don't see yourself in that way, in what way? Being able to explain, being able to answer those questions from your nieces or nephews or little cousins. You can, though, Kyle. You're very intelligent.
It just reminds me of
that you're an adult.
Yeah, but it also
I'm the grown one in this situation now.
It is like, oh my God, they are looking up to me.
Definitely.
Or they're like, and that's one thing I'm not quite
used to.
Even though I've been an adult at this point for years. But when it's I think what it is being around my friends' kids, and them actually seeing me as somebody that they want to confide in. Yes. That is something that I always make sure that they know Uncle Kyle is here for them if they need it.
And that's what I was going to say. You should feel comfortable that they feel comfortable with you, one, to be able to talk to you, question, or have you explain whatever. And even if you don't have the answer, it's okay to say, I don't know, but I'm going to get back to you on that.
Yeah, like
it also goes to show you they're paying attention. Yeah. They're paying attention. When you think that they're not, they're paying attention. And Uncle Kyle.
That's always been a thing going back to you guys. We were paying attention, paying attention to you. Now there are some people out there now who are asking the question, because I do realize that there has to be limits. Like, there has to be boundaries.
Yep.
You can't have your young child or niece and nephew in like a adult conversation.
Definitely. I agree with that. I agree with that.
But then especially nowadays where we have all these different video platforms, and people are talking about these things like, why does your kid already know about XYZ?
Right.
Why is it that they're in the middle of this conversation and you guys are talking about so and so?
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
do think there's a limit. I do agree with you on that. There is.
Yeah, but at the same time, if somebody's asking a question, if the kid who will one day become an adult, is asking a question that is, for lack of a better word, appropriate, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to.
No, I get what you're saying, because there are some things that, depending on the age of the child and what the discussion is, that you do have to say, not right now, or, that, like you said, it's not appropriate conversation for that youngster.
Right.
I get what you're trying to say. I totally do.
Like the statement, I'll tell you when you're older, right? Yeah. I get it. But they may have other questions by the time they're older.
Right.
But it's just trying to explain something to a kid that they're gonna process, because not everyone's gonna process things the same way. But those who do, even if they do, like, say if they're a kid that's highly intelligent and they know things, they know things like on an academic level, but you try to explain certain things like emotion or something to them, and it's like, that's foreign.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because that's not always a direct line.
Okay.
Emotions can go from one thing to another very quickly.
Right.
Whereas the stuff that they're reading or writing, up until somebody disproves it or debunks it, let me say that, or something changes, then it's straight that way. They know exactly how they got the answer. They know exactly who did what, where, how, and when, But when you're explaining things on an emotional scale, it's not always that simple.
No, it's not. And I think you have to take each situation as it comes, and you as a parent, as someone that, you being in the position of being an uncle to people, to young men and women, not, people. We have to take those conversations as they come, and we have to, as the adult, give that information in layman's terms to them, depending on what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you can have two children that are 9 years old, and one of them, how to nurture and how to talk to, and what information you can give that one child. Each child is different at the end of the day. So, one thing we have to remember too, and not forget, again, we talked about it earlier, is Black History Month. So not only because it's Black History Month, because we always want to teach our history.
It's history.
Yeah, we want to keep teaching our history.
It is history, period.
Right. It's history, period. One thing that I had picked up these flashcards from one of the stores, and I was looking at the cards, and I said, I could read from one of the cards, some of the fun facts. But one thing that but I didn't even get that far. When I got in here, there was an index card in here, and I want to see if I could find it really quick. It was one of the cards in here, and it has key dates and events on it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that stuck out to me. So the first one says 1954, Brown versus Board of Education. We, and I'm saying this to say, go look it up, discuss it, and talk with it with your friends. It's not that we don't know what it is. Not talk with it with your friends, talk with it with the children, so that they're aware, because as we have seen, as time goes on, some of these things is getting scarce and we're not able to find information on. Mm-hmm. But one of the ones that stuck out, and there's other ones up here, 1964, Loving versus Virginia. It sticks out to me because the couple. Yes.
Yep, the interracial couple from.
Here's the tea on that one.
Yeah.
I work with the great-granddaughter, I believe she is, of this couple.
Nah, what?
Yes. She told us, yes. We had heard the story, and I had seen the movie, and I know it, but not everybody did, when she told us that she was the great-granddaughter of that couple. Mm. Yes. So it's very interesting. Her name is Jess Loving, and it's just our history. We never know who we sit next to. Yeah. Unless we have these conversations, and how awesome that is to have that connection. So even go and let your children read about that story. And it's not that it's an abnormal story. It just stuck out to me when I read the cards, and I said, oh, wow, I know, somebody that is directly related to this said situation, which there are a lot of situations in history that we can talk about. And hopefully as we go on throughout the month, we will touch on some of those, some of the things that our ancestors have done that the world doesn't know that they have done,
Yeah.
you know?
You know what's interesting when you brought up the Loving story? You brought up a piece of history, black history during a time of segregation and interracial marriage being illegal. Right. But you also brought up a matter of the heart.
Yes.
You also brought up a matter of the heart.
Good catch, Kyle.
Because it is Black History Month. Valentine's Day at the point of this recording is on the way.
Yes.
And you brought up a story that can count as both.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Didn't even realize that. And this is why, Kyle, you are that man. And we are going to say thank you again for listening, sitting in with us with myself and my wonderful co-host here, Mr. Carl Barboza. I say thank you. Sean, look at us. So again, we say thank you. We ask that you check us out, YouTube, Spotify. Look out for us on Facebook, New Path Wealth.
New Path Wellness Group. You got the Tea and Cornbread Facebook page. Check that out. You are also on, like we said, you're on YouTube, Spotify, every podcast platform. You're also on Instagram at Tea and Cornbread.
Yes, and we say thank you for you joining, listening. We ask that you like, subscribe, leave your comments, and we look forward to talking with you for another day. Enjoy your day, people.
Peace and love.